that there's just...
Oh my God, we're live, you guys. Welcome to Stars in the House. Welcome. It is May 19th. It is 2 p.m. on the day before my birthday. Therefore, I have hijacked Stars in the House as a present to myself. This is literally for myself. Thanks for being at my pre-birthday party. Oh, someone's 1 a.m. Yeah, look at this. Already a party. It's 1 a.m. Listen, Stars in the House, you guys, is the brainchild of Seth Rudetsky and James Wesley, and they have entrusted me once again with their beautiful brainchild, which is, it plays twice a day. It's a show that plays twice a day with all kinds of amazing, eclectic stars and people, and just, I mean, well, stars are people, whatever. I don't know. We're made of stardust. And they bring you joy. I feel like they bring me joy twice a day, every single day. It's just the most incredible thing. And we're raising money for the Actors Fund because we are still in this pandemic and we need to help each other out. So there's a link that's scrolling. Oh no, it's like this way. At the bottom of the screen, and you can donate throughout the show, throughout whatever this time, and that's what we're doing. And Actors Fund is an amazing organization that raises money for all of us that are on stage, but also behind the scenes and all over. And I know that we're all really grateful to you already for all of your donations that you've made so far. And for those of you that can't afford to donate during this time, let this just be an hour of complete joy for yourself and just relax and enjoy what we're bringing to you. And I'm really excited because this is the day before my birthday. So I really wanted to see people that I just love and that bring me so much joy. So all three of my guests are some of the greatest humans on this planet. I cannot even wait to share them with you. I love them so much. So I'm going to bring them to you in a moment, but I thought that we should start off. I just want to sing a little something because it's interesting. I've been talking to a lot of people, and though we are, this is Stars in the House and we've all been singing for different things, or we're being asked to do a lot of stuff. And it's interesting because the times that I want to sing, the songs that I want to sing are songs that either are in my head in the morning, or so I've dreamed them or something. It's not like I want to sing my usual stuff. So stuff is coming up for me. And this morning is the song that came to my heart that I felt like I wanted to just start this show out with. And I realized that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think it's really, really important that we acknowledge that, especially during this time when we're in our houses and we're feeling maybe alone, and a lot of stuff is coming up for us that maybe doesn't usually. So I just want to acknowledge you are not alone. And especially in this time, here we are together. This is for you. This is for you. And luckily it brings me joy to do this. So, I want to sing this simple song to just start us off. So let me do my own music cues. Here we go. Breathe and sing. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Look, it's Barbra Streisand, so it's gonna be fine. All the Barbaras are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. I hope you all are singing along. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the The sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. All of us, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stars in the House. And with that, I am going to bring on my very first guest, one of the greatest people ever. I love him so much. I'm going to get to the nickname in a second. I have to actually focus to call him by his actual name because we'll talk. I call him the Reverend Dr. Smoothie Green, but his actual name is Alan H. Green. And I always have to read these credits off, you guys, because I never talk to my friends first telling them what their resume is, but let me tell you, Alan H. Green, you guys, his Broadway credits include Play On, Sister Act, School of Rock, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You've seen him on a number of TV things. He was my favorite pirate on Peter Pan Live. Now you're going to look back and watch for that. Most recently, you saw him in Broadway Bounty Hunter, off-Broadway with music by Joe Iconis, and he was playing opposite Annie Golden. Their cast album was just released, and we'll discuss all of that. But you guys, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring now Alan H. Green. Yes, Rev!
Good morning, Berthea.
Good morning, the Reverend Dr. Smoothie Green.
Let me tell you what, you just sounded beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, if it wasn't a beautiful morning, it is now.
Do you know what? I appreciate that because we were talking before that's in this time, this crazy time, and you and I are both how can we help? But it's hard. Right. It's hard to want to sing and it's hard to want to perform. But aren't you finding that's it's whatever's coming to your heart that's okay, I got it. That's what we need to be doing.
Let me tell you. So I fled, I'm down here in Baytown, Texas, which apparently I sound a lot more Southern than I usually do because I've been down here with my family for 2 months. But so I fled New York City a couple months ago. And the first month of all of this, I got to be honest, I was really stifled creatively. I had friends creating all this content and my agents and manager were like, oh, here's a self tape. And I just couldn't get my spirit together to do it. I felt really just stuck, and then I was like, well, Alan, you need to come up with some stuff to do. And I posted one song and then people were like, oh, you should post every Sunday. And I thought, okay, well, that's not a lot. But then it was I had all this angst about it. And it was so interesting. I was doing a Bible study and one of my pastor's wives, she said she was doing a meditation on be still and know. Oh, and it made me realize, oh, wait a minute. Not only is it okay for me to just be still, but I'm actually called to be still. And that really just released the weight of I got to be doing this, I got to be doing that. Because I said no to a lot of stuff just because I had all this angst about it. But that Bible study really was oh, wait, it's okay to be still. Yes. And I'm actually called to be still. So let me just sit my bald head down and be still and be okay with it.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Rev. I was going to say, sit your bald head down.
Yeah. So wait, now I have to say right. 2 months out of it, I am feeling I don't have any angst about being here with you today. And I'm doing Joe Turner's Come and Gone play reading, an August Wilson thing, the show Blue that I was going to do with the Apollo this summer, with Felicia Rashad directing by Charles Randolph Wright, music by Nona Hendrix. We're going to do a thing next week just for ourselves. So Felicia,
that's so good.
And I don't have any angst anymore about that. But that first month, I just had angst, and I had to kind of breathe through it and just say, you're down here with your family. Don't put any extra pressure on yourself. We're just used to ripping and running. And I think,
That's right.
and it was also that my mind, as much as we hustle, we're always preparing for a job or wondering if we got a job or about to start an audition or thinking about the last audition. And so all of that, the absence of all of that had like cleared my mind. And so I had to say, Alan, just be still and know.
That is the best phrase right now for everybody who's listening to here and everybody that will listen and on repeat of this. That is it. And it is. And don't you feel like you're having less anxiety now because you honored that time, that your soul is telling you, be still, and know that it also what we were doing and how we hustle doesn't match with this time that we're in. We're supposed to be chill and reflecting. And but also the other thing is people are asking you to sing and pose because your spirit is so light. But what if it's also an opportunity for people to find it within themselves too? Yeah, that's like, absolutely. You'll get there. It's like, yes, I'll be there, but that's and one of the other
things, thank you. One of the other things that I've been doing, I was actually talking to a friend because I'm down here in Texas with people who have all different kinds of beliefs and, political affiliations and all this kind of stuff. So a friend kind of wrote a thing on Facebook that seemed kind of crazy to me. So I just reached out to him personally and said, I know you're a reasonable person, but what you've come up with about this whole situation doesn't seem reasonable. Help me understand that. And so he talked about, well, I this and my this, and I did, and he talked for about 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes was up, I said, you know what? Everything you're saying is exactly true, but the only pronouns you're using is I and my. And I said, this pandemic, Rona, ain't happening to you and yours. This is happening to all of us. And so I said, you got to change your pronoun when you talk about this. And let me tell you what, I don't think I've ever said something that has helped me more. Because literally, when I was like trying to get through unemployment for 6 weeks, it's like, when are we ever going to make money again? When's Broadway going to open? When are we going to do anything? I was like freaking out. And I had to say, oh, wait, I'm not on hold for unemployment.
That's right.
I'm one of 20 million people.
That's right.
It's not that I'm stuck. We are stuck. And that doesn't take away from like the reality of my individual burden, but to change the pronoun to we and us, it lifted my individual burden a little bit. And so that's another thing I've been telling people. When you talk about the situation, you got to change your pronoun to we and us. Because
that is so.
And not that I'm like a Schadenfreude kind of guy, but no matter what our situation is, there's a lot of people in this world who are way worse off.
That's right.
And so it's like, oh, that's right. I'm trying to get through the unemployment. So are 20 million other people. And guess what? We're ultimately going to get through, and we're ultimately going to figure this out, and we're ultimately going to be okay.
That's right. Oh my God. See, okay, now here's the deal, you guys. This is why he is the Reverend Dr. Smoothie Green. Because, wait, hold on. My lighting's not as cute as yours. I just realized. There it is.
Oh, there you go.
I'm looking at you. I'm like, now what? You look so like.
I got this little tiny little ring light, and I'm on the lowest setting because it makes me look orange sometimes. But
you're looking like gorgeous, and like angels are speaking out of you. So, that's how it goes, though. I just love that you started this off with that is it. Like, this is why I love talking to you on all occasions, because this is the important stuff of life. As much as it's like, we're going to sing songs and everything, which is important, but also like to just stop and reflect on what's going on. We're all in this together. And I love that you're saying that. That's some good, like, Oprah tweetable moments right there. Super Soul Sunday. It's just like, change your pronoun. Every time you get stuck, change your pronoun and be still and know. I'm just recapping for the people that are Super Soul Sunday going to tweet this out. Oprah!
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So let's talk about what's really important in life, which is your resume. It's like, just after all that, she was like, I get. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so your resume. So Broadway.
30 Rock. So
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is you did some shows. So what I took from that is you're on Broadway, or yes or no?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So Rev.
Like, I'm not on Broadway. Ain't nobody on Broadway.
That's right.
We not
That's
on
right.
Broadway.
We collectively not on Broadway, so
Close.
namaste to you. Okay, so but your story is actually really interesting, and I want people to know it. But first, we should address the elephant in the room, which is I'm going to refer to him as the Rev, you guys, from now on. He may or may not refer to me as Berthea. So let's quick talk about that. We're going to talk about School of Rock later, but let's just identify why that is what's happening.
So Sarah and I met doing. Is it better if I look? Where should I be looking? I don't know where to look.
Wherever you want. I don't know either. I have no idea what I'm doing. So yeah, that's fine.
Okay, because I'd rather look at you than myself. Okay.
Yeah,
so
look
Sarah,
at me.
Okay, so Sarah and I met doing School of Rock. And so in School of Rock, I played 3 characters. Mr. Mooneyham, Zach's dad, mean guy. I played Snake, the band member that they kicked Dewey out and replaced him with. And then I played this like random teacher guy. So there was a great group of adults in School of Rock. It's such a special group. We had a great time building that show. And so we were trying to, doing our backstories and, our inner life. So we were trying to come up with names for these like random teachers, right? And so basically everybody had come up with a name. And I just was like, this stuff will come to me. That's kind of my process. Like I don't come on the first day deciding anything about how they're going to walk, how they're going to talk. No, all that is like revealed to me without sounding too like actory schmactory. But that stuff happens, and then it comes in an organic way, and then it ultimately really is helpful and informs my performance. If I decide all these things before I get there, then it doesn't really help the performance. So almost everybody else had come up with a name, and then we were kind of standing around talking and laughing, and somebody offered me a green smoothie. And I was like, green smoothie? Smoothie Green. That's his name. That's my teacher's name, Smoothie Green. And so my sister is a teacher, and she really wanted to transition to become a counselor. So I think because that was in the back of my mind, I decided Smoothie Green is the counselor at Horace Green.
Absolutely.
And then I was like, oh, that's right. And my last name is Green. So this is like without even like that initial connection. So I decided that Smoothie Green was the counselor. So he would have a master's. And so like my sister. So I was like, it's Dr. Smoothie Green. And then I thought, you know what? Zach's dad and Snake, I don't know if they have any faith about them. So let me add some faith to this character, the Reverend Dr. Smoothie Green. So that's where that came out of. And so at the top of the show, you and I had one exchange.
One moment.
Alyssa walks by me, and then I walk by him, and he says, "Morning, Miss Mullins," and I say, "Morning, Miss Mullins." And so I always would think of different ways to like activate this one little line. I mean, it was really a scene change cross. And so I just decided, look at Sierra just up there playing Miss Mullins. Yeah, Rosalie Mullins. And I was like, you know what? She's Rosalie Mullins now, but Smoothie knew her when she was Berthea Mullins back in the day, before she got all pulled up and operatic. I just started calling you Berthea, and then that was just.
And that was it. And we have a hashtag. We have a hashtag that people know, which is the Adventures of Rev and Berthea.
Right.
It is true.
And what they need to know is that Rev and Berthea have a lot in common. One of the things they don't necessarily have in common is how they eat. Because Rev wants a big old steak, just pour on the meat. Berthea wants a quinoa salad and some kale.
With a side of.
But one thing that they do agree on is a biscuit. So let me tell you what, the Rev and Berthea have been all over New York City eating biscuits. And we have our favorite place, and we will go there and sit up in the corner.
And we will order those biscuits. And I'll get a big old salad.
Nothing else on the table will we share. But that's when the biscuits come. And I remember the place used to like offer biscuits with your entree, and then they stopped doing it, and it was like this additional charge. And I was like, we don't care. No. This could be $20 a biscuit. We need 4 of them.
That's what we're going. We're going to need 4. Yeah. That's right. That's some quarantine prices right there. Okay. It's like, no, that's fine. That
And you'll be
was,
happy to
and
know
we
one
started.
thing I've done in quarantine, because I was like, I got to be better at something. So my cooking game has really upped. And I'm telling you, Syria, I can make a biscuit now.
Yeah, you're gonna make me when you come back here.
It's
I'm
the
gonna need that
first thing
biscuit.
we're gonna do. I
That's right.
have perfected this biscuit recipe. My family will like say, "Are you making the biscuits again?" And then my sister was like, "You didn't make enough. You need to double the recipe." I mean, they come from my
Yeah, of course you would double the recipe, Red.
yeah.
You know how we do.
Oh, yeah.
Now listen, okay, so you're in Texas. You
Yes.
went to talk about this though, because how you began is so fascinating, because you went to Rice University, but
Yep.
was this in high school that you were football and you were playing the bass?
So I went, so in high school, I was like this.
There's the picture. There it is right there. There he is.
I believe
Is this
you
high
got that
school?
picture. Hashtag doing the most is what that is.
Doing the most. But is this from high school or college?
Yeah, that's high school. No, that was high school.
Okay, so explain.
Blue chip football player. I was in the orchestra. I was in Texas All-State Orchestra. You know, I was in the debate team. I was in student council. I was homecoming king. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Okay. And so I got recruited by lots of schools. I chose Rice and I decided to go there to be pre-law. But then because of some circumstances, I had started to sing. So my older sister was really the singer in the family, right? She has a voice across between Toni Braxton and Patsy Cline. Okay. Woo! She was going to be the first Black female country singer. We ain't got one still, but she was pursuing that. And I was basically her like little doo-wop guy. Okay. So we would do, luncheons and weddings and whatever, but it was really about her. I always had academic interests. Well, then she decided she didn't want to do it anymore. So people would call for us. So I was kind of left over. And then my dad moved us to this mega church and I started singing there. And basically I sang for Bush Sr., one of the sitting presidents, for this ecumenical prayer breakfast, and CNN showed it live, and I was the soloist for a 1,000-voice choir. And after it was over, I got a standing ovation. The president walked over and shook my hand, and they showed it all on CNN. So after that moment happened, people were calling me from all over the world to sing at like their churches and stuff. And so I was like, oh, okay. So cut to, I get into Rice. I'm on a scholarship football player, and I'm pre-law. And I'm at the end of my freshman year. Now, I was recruited to replace the best running back in the country. His name was Trevor Cobb. He had just won the Doak Walker Award, which is the best running back in the country. So I was recruited to replace him. Okay. I was the football player. And so at the end of my freshman year, I was starting to get all these calls. And I thought, too bad I can't accept these singing engagements because I'm going to have football games in the fall. So I'm not going to be able to accept any of these singing engagements. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, if that's what I want to do, then that means I'm probably going to quit football, which means I probably need to quit today. And so I got out of that hurdler stretch in my football uniform, went right up to Fred Hatfield, and I said, I have to quit. Because I felt like they had put all this stock in me. And if I was going to eventually quit, I needed to quit now.
Yes.
I quit. I went home. I told my parents, I'm thinking about quitting football. My mother freaked out. My dad was like, said, I think I need to go to the music school and take a voice lesson and figure out how to sing, because I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I went to the music school. Those kids were, auditioning with arias and all this kind of stuff. I brought in a jam box and sang like a contemporary Christian Michael W. Smith song. Those people looked at me like I was crazy. But I got into the music school because the head voice teacher, Virginia Babikian, loved football. She was this 80-year-old diva who had this incredible career, and she just thought it was the coolest thing that this big old football player wanted to be a singer. So I got into this vocal performance classical music school. And then I ended up graduating, and at that time I'd gotten a record deal with a Christian label. So after I graduated, I moved to Nashville to pursue this record deal, and they were like, okay, great, we need you to get married to a woman right now. And I was like, excuse me? They said, yeah, we need all of our artists married. And I was like, I don't know about that. You want me to sing about God's truth and be in some sham marriage? I can't do that. So I didn't take the record deal. I got a job at Opryland, and I worked there. It was me and one other Black girl. We were the only two Black people who worked there, or basically who were there. I ended up doing this random cruise ship job. Got the cruise. auditioned, got the cruise ship job. It sailed out of Fort Lauderdale for 6 months. Then it sailed to New York for 3 months. And so my fellow cast members were doing auditions in New York on the port day. So I thought, well, let me try this. And so I did an audition for the tour of Ain't Misbehavin' with the Pointer Sisters.
Wow.
And I basically went in and was like, hi, I'm Alan. I've never auditioned for like a professional gig before. I went to audition. I went back out of the waiting room. Arthur Faria, who created that show, came out and said, we'd like to offer you the swing for Andre and Ken. And I said, no, what's a swing? I didn't know.
Me too, I'd ask that.
He said, oh, well, you'll play their parts when they're not there. I said, so I'm going to come to work and not do anything? And he said, well, sometimes. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's what I want to do. He said, okay, hold on, please. He went back into the room. He came back 10 minutes later and he said, we'd like to offer you the role of Andre and don't audition for anybody else. And I was like, okay, well, Mr. Faria, I don't know that I can tell you that I'm not going to audition for anybody else, but so he offered me the job on the spot. So I
wow.
It's a cruise ship. I went back to Texas. I told my parents, I think I can go to New York and be who I am and do what I love. So I think I'm going to do that. And so I didn't take the job because it was a tour. And I thought, well, if I'm going to go to New York, I need to be on Broadway. I had a cousin who lived in the Bronx, my cousin Helena. My dad called her and said, he didn't ask her. He said, I'm sending Alan to live with you in the Bronx. And I moved up there. And then 3 months later, I was in Play On Broadway.
Oh my God.
Andre DeShields.
What? Wait, Rev, that is so amazing. And I hope that everybody listening is just like as obsessed with this story as I am. It's just like, there's so many nuggets in there of just like your clarity. You're always following like, and that's the thing is like your entire, all the credits that I listed is like, they're all fascinating to me, each one. And I was obsessed with you also in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like that, which I think that there's, yes, look at that.
My baby got a baby.
Oh my God, are you serious? So your granddad?
Yep.
Oh my God, you're a stage granddad.
Her name is Aria. I call her Aria Coloratura.
Yeah, I know, that's right. Oh my God, that's just so amazing. Okay, now this picture, this is during School of Rock for everybody. This was, and then will you talk about this? Because I remember when you took this photo and it's just like one of the most beautiful moments. So just for everybody listening, you did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory after School of Rock. But this, was this when you came back?
Well, I did School of Rock. You know, we did it originally. Then I left to do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's right.
It closed. And then I came back to School of Rock like 78 times. And
yes,
then
you did.
I ended up being back the last month and I got to close the show.
But notice, like, that's a theme for you that's like people, and this is the truth, and I want to say this too, is that people don't want to lose you because you're so good. You're one of the best company members I've ever met in my life. You are somebody who's like has such integrity, always is there for everybody else. You are like but you are fun and you are funny and you can joke, but it's also like when we're working, and I have all the time for that. And that's what makes a good company member. But talk really quickly about this photo.
Yeah, so, you know, School of Rock, that was the year that Hamilton came out. And of course, everybody was like, you know, freaked out that all the founding fathers were people of color. And it was like, colorblind casting. It's so cool. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Hamilton is phenomenal, but that's non-traditional casting. Okay, and those are two different things. And Lynn was so brilliant, that casting affected the show. Because they then all turned into, it became a story about immigrants, which is what they all were. And so, you know, you left the show going, you don't leave Hamilton going, oh, that was a black guy playing, you know, Aaron Burr. You leave the show going, was Aaron Burr black? I mean, it just because they all became immigrants. So it was a thoughtful, deliberate, race-aware choice. Okay.
Yes.
But that's not colorblind casting. School of Rock was colorblind casting. And, you know, one of the best examples, so you saw the little boy on my head was Brandon, who's like, you know, he was like one of the most incredible kid musicians or musicians ever. He was kind of the heart of the show. He was my son. So he's a biracial kid with curly hair. So he, you know, seemed like he was my son, right? Well, his two understudies were a Korean kid and a blonde hair, blue-eyed kid. But whenever they were on, And I said at the end of the show, because I played a mean dad who wasn't really paying attention to his son. And then all of a sudden he got out of his own world and noticed his son. And he said, I love you, son. And I'll never be. Whew,
I know. I was about to lose it.
Anyway, when he says, I love you, son, and I'll never be more proud, it didn't matter what color the child was. When he jumped into my arms and I said, I love you, son, and I'll never be more proud, the entire audience cooed. They just purred and they cooed. And it's so interesting because, you know, we have a lot of conversations about race and theater and you know, and also we had a British creative team. So they have a different perspective about all that. But there were days in our show in School of Rock where, because of vacations and people being out and whatever, where no child and parent was the same race. So and it didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. You can't do these shows and say race doesn't matter. You have to do the show and say, how does race matter? It so happens that in the case of School of Rock, it didn't matter. But sometimes people want to put up these shows and switch the races around and act like it doesn't matter, but it's an optic that we all see. Yes. And so we have to have an honest conversation about, is this affecting our storytelling?
Yes.
It's taking people out. You know, the Beauregards being black in Charlie and Chocolate, that didn't matter.
Right.
Okay? But the optics of Carousel?
Right. It's tough. Right.
That mattered. There was like an elephant in the room. You know, and I don't know anybody. I thought Carousel was beautiful. Jack O'Brien is like, school, you know, I would work for him in a second. But I wish they would have like doubled down on it. But I think the idea was that, oh, this doesn't matter. We're all just going to act like this doesn't matter, but it mattered. Right. And if they had doubled down on it, like the cop who messes Billy Bigelow, he should have been white, and she should have been race. And that's not taking anything from anybody. It was beautiful, and particularly because that was the time when a whole bunch of unarmed black men were getting killed by white officers, right? Yeah. And because Carousel is so healing and redemptive, it could have fed our souls in a different way. Because we would have seen it for what it really was instead of the elephant in the room, but then had a redemptive healing experience after. So we just got to be careful.
Yeah,
when we're coaching our stories and race. We had, and I remember I did a workshop of a show, and the daughter was white, and my daughter was, you know, I'm always somebody's daddy. So the girl was white, and so it was all white creative team. I said, now why are we different races? And they all just like froze. And they said, oh, well, she's been in the project for a long time, and we love her, and we found you, and we liked you, and I said, okay, I just want to talk about it. No. Yeah. They were like, well, what do you think about that? I said, well, I don't know the piece, so I don't have any thoughts as of today. But when I form an opinion about it,
I know.
Give it to you. But it just needs to be talked about. It can't just be, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like when people say, I don't see color. Well, you know what? You're living in La La Land. I know you want to, because the choice is, the thing is, we want to be seen as people of color. We don't want to be disenfranchised because of it.
Right.
You know, but just
you give us such words. Yeah.
You know, that's not.
You give us such worthy conversation and given us so many amazing things to think about. I really want you to sing, but quickly, I just want to say about Broadway Bounty Hunter. That Broadway Bounty Hunter, you guys can look it up because I need. Broadway Bounty Hunter was amazing. You were so amazing in it. Starred opposite Annie Golden.
There's the
pictures. There they are. And just listen to that cast album because you sing some dulcet tones on there. But will you just, before you go, just bless us with your dulcet tones and just sing it out to us before I let you go? Thank you for just. I love you so much. Yeah, put that. Yeah, take your time. You know, get that mouth right. You know.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Can you hear it?
Yes.
After the last tear falls, after the last secret's told, After the last bullet tears through flesh and bone, after the last child starves and the last girl walks the boulevard, after the last year that's just been hard, there is love, 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 love. There is love, 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 love. There is love. After the last disgrace, after the last lie to save some face, after the last brutal jab from a poison tongue, after the last dirty politician, after the last meal down at the mission, after the last lonely night in prison, there is love, 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 love. There is love, 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 love. There is love. And in the end is oceans and oceans of love and love again. We'll see how the tears that have fallen were caught in the palms of the giver of love and the lover of all, and we'll look back on these tears as old tales. 'Cause after the last plan fails, after the last siren wails, after the last young husband sails off to join the war, and after the last this marriage is over, after the last young girl's innocence is stolen, after the last year of silence that won't let a heart open, there is love, 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 love. There is love, so much love. There is love. And in the end is oceans and oceans of love and love again. We'll see how the tears that have fallen were caught in the palms of the giver of love and the lover of all, and we'll look back on these tears as old tales. 'Cause after the last tear falls, there is love, 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 love. After the last tear falls, there is love. After the last tear falls, there is love.
Oh my God. Amen.
I love you, Bethia.
I love
And
you
I
so
wanted to
much.
sing that song because you are love. I just love the way you live your life. So many people's social platforms is all about receiving, like me, follow me, but you are just all about giving. You are just a ball of love, and I love to be a tiny part of it. Thank you for having me be here.
Thank you,
Black
Rev.
Stars and They Crib.
Black Stars and They Crib. That's what you kept telling me.
I love it.
Rev, I love you so much. We are so grateful to you. And I know you blessed a lot of people today with your words and with your song. And
let me say one quick thing. Shout out to my church, Metro Baptist Church in New York City. We just got a $10,000 anonymous donation specifically for artists. So if you're an artist and you have any connection to my church, you can go online and apply for up to $1,000. It's nbcnyc.org, and they're just trying to help artists in the midst of this pandemic.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rev. Thank you for being here. I love you.
I love you. I'm going to make some biscuits.
Go make them. Get out of here. Go make me some biscuits. Bye. Oh my God. That was such a blessing. I can't even deal. Woo! Don't forget, you guys, you can donate to starsinthehouse.com. That made me want to just shell some dollars out right now. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited to bring on my next guest, who is part of my family. She is my sister. Let me read out her credits to you real quick because it's just like so weird. Okay, Broadway credits, 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, South Pacific, 9 to 5, Priscilla, Escaped Margaritaville, but I know her from It Should Have Been You. Let me give her some entrance music, if we could, David, please.
It's gotta be perfect. We can be perfect. Enough to make mom speechless. Well, nothing that extreme. A moment's peace would be a dream. We'll make it perfect. We're the perfect team.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Howard's in the house, my sis.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa, how are you?
Oh, I am so good. It's so good to see you. And that video, I haven't seen that clip in forever.
I know, my face hurts from smiling so much. I can't deal. I loved that part in the show so much, just like seeing you. And it was like that because it was early enough in the show that's like our nerves are still there. So as soon as we see each other, it's like, oh,
It's good.
I got my girl. Even though we shared a dressing room.
We did.
I mean, we were kind of attached to the hip pretty much the entire time. Let's be totally honest.
Oh,
Lisa, you look so beautiful. You're dressed up.
I put on some makeup. I even put on a dress. It's been so long since I've had a dress on. I feel pretty. I was like, I put this specifically on because it was the same color as my dress I wore.
Dress.
Yeah. So
but no, you put this on, Lisa, you put this on because you're celebrating my birthday a day early.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah.
There it is.
And,
that's what I was looking for.
But don't worry though. I've still got my fuzzy slippers on with it. So don't you be worried.
No, I ain't worried. I ain't feared. I ain't worried. Oh my God, Lisa, I'm so excited. Okay, everybody's so excited that you're here. You're one of just my favorite people. This is the thing. I just want to start here. Do you remember we were in It Should Have Been You, for those that didn't know, because our show was small and mighty. But Tyne Daly, it was small and mighty. Tyne Daly played our mother. Mm-hmm. I think we have a picture somewhere. David's gonna figure it out because he's the mom. David's like, there's our mom, Tyne Daly. There's our family photo. But Tyne used to come to our dressing room each night before the performance and give us like some wisdom of Tyno and stuff. But you remember she talked about there's a difference between being a leading lady and a star. And it's sort of like she doesn't even like fill in the rest. She just sort of like drops that truth bomb and then like walks out the door, and we're like,
totally.
That was actually really wise.
Okay, all right.
But for me, I just want to say that for me, you are the embodiment of a leading lady, like a true leading lady. People don't understand that show revolved, like everything fell upon your shoulders. You had so much to do in that show, and you did it with such grace. And you were this person that's like, you also took care of all of us. You have 2 boys. And so you were a mom, but at that time, what ages were they? I forget.
Oh my gosh, 5 and a year.
Yeah, so there was we had toys in the dressing room for little Alex.
Totally. Yeah, like baby toys and crayons and coloring books and all that.
Yes, but how? Talk about that balance.
At that time, I remember, I don't think I've ever been as tired in my life as I was during those months that we did that show.
Yeah.
Because, I had someone who wasn't sleeping through the night. And I'd get home at midnight and wake up 2 or 3 times in the night to deal with an infant,
Yeah, because you don't live in the city, so you also had a journey to get home.
I did. I'm in Jersey. Not that far, but still, I'm out in Jersey.
It feels far to me, at least. Anything that isn't like Manhattan, I'm like, do you need a passport, or like, how does one get there?
It's really, I think I'm like 6 miles from Midtown, which, is not that far.
That feels far for me. I feel like I'll take a boat there. Just paddle.
For a moment though, and talk about Alan H. Green.
Yes, we can.
This
is the Alan H. Green episode.
I was like, I was like fanning myself because I was like starting to really get, the tears were about to come out, and then all my makeup would have been a mess. I was like, that song and all his nuggets of wisdom. I was like, yes. It's an amazing human being. Let's just put that out there, get it off the table, because I can't stop thinking of anything else.
No, we got to talk. That's the elephant in the room. Amazing humans. But this episode is literally amazing humans. Like, I needed this to be an episode of amazing humans with me, because you guys are all that way. Like, the conversations we would have in our dressing room, and also like
Room Sheep.
Go ahead.
I know. I bought one for my son, who was 5 at the time, and Sierra's like, can I keep that? So we put one in our dressing room, but I had to go get another one for my son.
She did. In case anyone thought I was a good human, I'm not, because I stole a room sheet. I stole a sheet from like Dwayne Reed from her child. From her 5-year-old child.
That's okay. We have another one in the bedroom. I would go find it, but it might take me a while. It's like buried under 1,000 stuff.
That's fine. Classic Room Sheep's right here. That's fine.
Right.
Room Sheep. Okay, Lise, you're from Ohio though, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. And then how did you end up the heck in New York? Tell the people.
Oh, well, I was a little kid. I grew up in Ohio. I did show choir. It was a big thing where I'm from. I'm a show choir kid. I did show choir, and I did my high school musicals. I didn't grow up going to a performing arts school or anything, but I did my high school musicals. And by about my junior year of high school, like, I really, I was serious about it. And my voice teacher at the time actually said, well, if you really want to do this, if you want to perform, you've got to, kick it up a notch and like really study and really train. And so I think I decided right then, I was like, okay, I'm going to. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. And then I, auditioned at musical theater programs, and I ended up going to the Cincinnati Conservatory. And my path was set from there. And then I fixed my hair too.
Sorry, I had something in my hair, and that was way more important than your story all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, my hair. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, that is important. But no,
I got nervous because you said CCM, and they didn't accept me.
Well, their loss.
Yeah. Thanks, sis.
Yeah. So I went to CCM, and at that school we put together a showcase, and we came to New York, and I got an agent, and I got the ball rolling.
Yeah, you did.
You
did. And then I feel like your resume also, like I said to the rep, your resume is also so eclectic, like all the different shows that you did, like 9 to 5. Look at 9 to 5 with Dolly. Oh my God. I love that. What was Dolly like?
She was awesome. I mean, you never saw her not done up to the nines, like the nails and the heels and the hair and everything. But she was the sweetest can be, like knew all of us. Like during tech, she would make fudge and bring us homemade fudge. And like sometimes she would just show up even after we'd opened. She would just sometimes show up, and at the curtain call, you'd see Dolly. She'd be in the wings waving to you. And like as you came off, she'd be giving everybody high fives. Like she was just really cool. And
that's so awesome.
Nice.
See, it's so helpful to be surrounded, I think, especially in our, like with Broadway stuff, that's like people that are that way, that are lights, like how I feel about you too. That's like, that's what we were doing. Just like being lights for each other. It's too important to take it. Like, I don't know. It's good to be lights,
Totally. I mean, because what's the alternative?
That's right. The alternative would suck. That's right. I know. Wait, can you just talk about also the process? Because with It Should Have Been You, it was like your process with that was like you'd been involved for a long time. Because I remember seeing you in Jersey.
Yeah, we did. I had done readings of it in the city, several readings. And then we did a production at the George Street Playhouse in New Jersey.
That's when I saw
And
it.
then it wasn't for another couple of years did we do the Broadway one. So it had been a series of probably at least 5 years that I had worked on readings in that other production before we ever got to Broadway. So
And there we are. Look at us.
Can we talk about how long my hair is? What?
Yeah, your hair. Oh, there's us. Look at it.
I love it.
But also, wait. So we met actually on the photo. The first time we met was the photo shoot.
Yes.
For that whole.
The December before we started rehearsing, we met at the photo shoot.
We did that photo. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at this. That's us meeting.
Know each other.
Look at that gif. Come on. That's how we met. And it was like, we had to all instantly be family. But it was so easy because it's like with that cast, wasn't it just a blessing?
It was Chip and Harriet and Michael X. Martin. And I mean, the cast was just amazing.
But also you in that show, Lise, it's like, and now whenever I teach, everybody wants to sing the songs from It Should Have Been You, and they want to sing your songs. You're like, first of all, you are so infectious as a performer. Just so there's so much joy and light that comes off you. It's like unlike anybody that I know. You are just like this. But then also it's like the songs written for that character and like what she's going through and all that stuff. Like, talk about that. Like, what a gift I feel like as a performer that role was.
I mean, such a gift. I got to play so many different aspects. Like she got to go through such a journey, which is amazing. And I think a journey that a lot of people have taken, and whether your issues are the same or different, I think people, it's about someone coming into their own.
Yes.
And finding their worth.
Yes.
And that they have value and all of those things. So no matter where that problem or, that inequity comes from, you can relate to that finally realizing your value.
Absolutely. And I know that so Lisa's going to sing for us, you guys, but I just want to talk about this song. So your ultimate song in the show, It Should Have Been You, that everybody waited for, the big 11 o'clock number, was called Jenny's Blues. Yeah. And I remember on there she is in full glory singing Jenny's Blues. And I remember on the final show, can you tell everybody what happened?
Yeah, that was a moment that I don't think anyone would ever forget, because it was the final show. The audience knew it was the final show. And I got done with Jenny's Blues, and, the audience started clapping, they were cheering, and then somebody stood up, and then some other people stood up, and then they just kept going on. And it just kept going on. And I was standing there, I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what to do, but it just kept going on. I mean, it was like a minute or two.
No, it was like 6 minutes. I'm not, because then I had time, because we were all watching you from the wings. I had time to go back to our dressing room, get my camera, come record it, because I wanted you to see what we were seeing. And I mean, it was like 6 minutes.
It was crazy. And it was almost embarrassing, but then I was kind of soaking it in.
Yes, ma'am. But that's the thing, is like, people were responding to, you weren't doing that to get that. And that's what people don't understand. When that happens, it's like this organic, just like, people were craving that from you, and it was it's one of my favorite moments, like in the theater.
It was
watching it happen. It was heaven. Okay, so Lise, will you now do us the honor of singing that song
in my dining room?
Yes.
It feels
your
like
dining
a strange song to do in your dining room, but that's where we are these days.
That's right. So now, welcome to the stage with also just talk about like behind you is like your like family photos.
Family photos, but then also my like Fallon and Squigs drawings too.
Okay, great. So it's like family, but in the center of it is resume.
Resume on the outskirts.
If there's anything we've learned about this life, it's our resume is the most. Oh my God, Lise. I can't. Okay. Will you now sing for us? Really for me, because,
yes.
But everybody, let's be honest. I'm afraid to look at the live comments right now because people are freaking out that you're here. And I just love you so much, my sis. But will you now give us the gift of Jenny's Blues?
All right. Let me get my track.
Oh my God. I love you so much.
All right.
Oh, look at this. Expert simulation.
You better stop right there, because you know that's not fair. I pulled this off without a glitch. So say goodbye. I'm done. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm tired of being your bitch. I'm gonna get me a little something. And a little something else on the side. Everybody else is celebrating. I wanna hop on that ride. Fix me a drink, then double it up. And when my glass is empty, refill my cup. 'Cause I'm gonna get me a little something, something. And a little something else on the side. So what? If I'm not that kind of girl, now I'm ready to give these a whirl. But make no mistake, it's a new day. Give me a break or get out of my way. I've spent my whole damn life just waiting. Others danced while I just sat all the shame. I have lived to please, ain't no debating. I'm gonna live for myself. It's more than talk, and when I give him back, he won't be able to walk. Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna get me a little something, and a little something else, and a lot of something extra, and a great big heap of something on the side.
Woo! I'm standing on my chair. Woo! Lise! What the heck? Can't look at people freaking out. They can't even write. Oh my God! Look at all these comments for you.
In my dining room.
That is right. That is in the dining room. Come on, Stars in the House. Donate at Stars in the House right now for that. That is like worth it. I'm like making it rain with fake money all day for this.
I love it.
Lisa, I love you so much. You're so amazing. Not only just as a performer, but as a human. And I'm so glad you're my sister.
Me too, sweetheart. Oh, thank you so much for having me on today.
Thank you.
And I can't wait till we can just go out and have lunch again.
Yes, please. Yeah. Yes. Like the last time when we went to, for Christmas, when we went and saw Santa. Remember when we went to Santa's workshop together? Like it was like all kids and like me and you. Like, Santa, can we take a picture?
That's fine.
That's fine. We're family. That's fine. And he was like, that's fine. Okay, Lise, go.
We were there.
Yeah, Santa was like, oh, thank God, people over the age of 10. Come on. Okay, go kiss that family for me. I love you and see you real soon.
See you real soon.
Okay, bye. Yay.
Mwah.
Oh my God, you guys. I can't get enough of my like incredible friends. And I know that you're all freaking out right now. Thank you, David, for posting some of those live comments on here because whew, I can't. That was in her living room, people. That's what we do now. That's what's up. Okay, so now someone else from my family. Allow me to read these credits for you since I can't do this without looking. Because again, I'm not accustomed to reading my friends' resumes to you. But let me read it. My next guest is my prince. Broadway credits include Fosse, Saturday Night Fever, The Apple Tree, Little Mermaid. In the West End, he was Raoul. He was Bobby and Crazy for You in On the Town. He's also known for, well, we'll get to it. You probably recognize him from Sex and the City. Ladies and gentlemen, my prince, Sean Palmer. Oh my God, Shawnee!
Hiya.
I'm sorry to make you wait so long. I realized that was also bad on my part. Also, okay, I can't even. I don't
It's okay.
even
Do
know
I
where
have
to.
like 1 minute to do everything I need to do?
Yeah, you have
Get
1
started.
minute. No, we got all the time. Are you kidding? Everybody is like, we are here for this right now. Okay, Shawnee, first of all, you look like a prince right now.
Thank you. That's my lighting.
You also look like you're perfect in your sailor shirt because also Prince Eric was a sailor.
Sailor, yeah. Did I get it right?
You got it, yeah. Little Mermaid. We'll get
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Okay. Also, Shawnee is coming to us from where?
I'm in Dublin right now, Blackrock in Ireland.
So it's like late.
Yeah, 8 o'clock probably. Yeah.
That's fine.
But the sun's still shining. It's really bright here late, like in
Are
London.
you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember that the sun is like out at 8 p.m.
Yeah, like till 10 o'clock. It'll still be light.
Are you in Iceland?
Ireland.
Oh, Ireland. Okay. I'm an actor. No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to show you something.
Yeah, show me. Okay.
Mermaid Smarties. I had to use them for my
show them
broadcast
closer.
Yesterday. Well, can you see them? Here.
Move them over. Yes. Okay. Now we can really see them. Mermaid Edition Smarties.
But I had to use them for my YouTube channel, but I saved some. So there's one in there for you, and also one for me.
And also one for me. Oh my God. Okay, you guys, you don't even understand. So Shawnee and I, we're gonna get to everything, but Shawnee and I did The Little Mermaid together. Duh. Prince Eric and Ariel. Duh. Amen. But that we were inseparable. Like off stage, we couldn't actually function without each other. We were a little bit unhealthy about it.
No.
Some say unhealthy, others say family?
Others say maybe use your own dressing room to get ready. We say no.
We say no. You guys, I had I'm playing The Little Mermaid and The Little Mermaid. They gifted me a very beautiful dressing room, like massive dressing room. Did I get ready in that dressing room? No. I was getting ready in Sean's
I had a good floor, to be fair, though. It was me,
you did.
Norm, and Sherry all on one floor. So you had a lot of love on that floor.
It's true, because I was like by myself in this like huge dressing room, but it's like, oh, you just kind of want to be like with you guys, because I could then like go around to each room or whatever. Wait, okay, I'm like so off course. I have like notes and stuff, and I'm just like riffing. Okay.
I know, is this going to be like gotcha journalism, Sierra?
Yeah, it sure is, Shawnee, because do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely not, no way. Okay, listen, I feel like we should discuss first Sex and the City, because some people are looking at the screen right now being like, why do I know this guy? Not from like a Broadway show. I know him because he's been in my living room on my TV. So there you are.
That's me.
That's you.
That's also me.
Like, that's so also you. Talk about this really quick for those that are like, oh yeah.
I moved into a building in New York where I met this wonderful person called Nancy Shane. And she is a comedian that goes way back with Michael Patrick King, who took over as showrunner for Sex and the City after Darren Star went on to work on some other projects. And Nancy would always bring me along to Michael's parties, like Christmas parties and whatever. And there would be like tons of famous people there, like all the big comedians and, whoever was on Broadway and all that kind of stuff. So I met a lot of really cool people, but Michael kept inviting me back year after year. And then when Sex and the City had taken off and he was showrunner, he kept trying to find something for me to do. And then one Christmas I went to his party, and as you know, I'm not really great in big groups. I can be a bit shy, but I was in his kitchen and I had been talking to him and he was in the room, and all of a sudden there was just like a gaggle of people around me, like men trying to talk to me and maybe get my number. I don't know if that was the case, and I was just like, looking and listening. And then I'd say one weird thing because I was like, "Mwah." And he just thought that was really fascinating. And so he said, I'm going to write you into the show just kind of like as yourself. Obviously there were some things, like I was never a hooker, but he wrote me in as myself, and I had to audition to play myself. And
did you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to go in and audition for it. And I remember I was like, I can't believe I'm so nervous to like, will I do it right? Like, it's me. But
that's valid.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a valid concern as an actor.
And really, ultimately, it was just, whether or not I could make them laugh. And I did the line and like, or a couple lines, whatever, but I did the line and nobody laughed. But then after the line was over, like I made a face and like they were like, bah, ha, ha. And I was like, oh, so yeah, they really do want me to just kind of be myself. Like,
yeah,
so that's how I got that job. But it was great. It turned into a lot more. I think I was meant to be in one episode, and then it ended up, he was like, oh, you're going to be in 4, and then we're going to bring you back the next season. So it ended up being a lot of fun. And then I was supposed to do the movie, but it didn't work out in the end because they had to sort of pare down all of the relationships down to like bare necessities.
That's how I learned the word tertiary character.
Tertiary. I was a tertiary character.
I don't.
That's going to be the name of my biopic. My
tertiary character. The memoirs by Sean Palmer. Tertiary character. I can't wait. Shawnee, your career also is so fascinating to me because you started out as like dancer.
Well, yeah. I started. When I first came to like doing show business, I started out as a wee little child. I danced. And then when I got into high school, I got into like a sort of show choir / my choir teacher sort of hijacked the chorus program. And we were taking 3 to 4 classes back to back, and it turned into sort of a conservatory environment, but it was kind of illegal. So she kind of hijacked that.
So you came into this business illegally, Shawnee?
A little bit. Yeah. Like,
okay.
I've got my card now. So
that's good.
She was really tremendous. She worked with the Nevada Opera, and she was a terrific voice teacher. And so I always say, like, she didn't teach me how to sing, but she taught me that I could sing. And so she made us all really confident, and a lot of us actually came to New York and continued our careers, and a huge group considering we were all in high school. And so when I got to New York, I was I think I was most confident as a dancer because singing was you had to show so much. And I felt very confident being physical, but I didn't necessarily want to share that much about myself.
Yep.
It felt super exposed. And then eventually I just kind of grew into it. And then I felt better at doing that thing.
I feel like I want people to understand, and those that are in the industry will know that's like what an incredible thing it is to go from when you consider yourself a dancer and that you are, and exactly what you're saying is so beautiful. This like, I'm showing too much if I'm singing. Like, and for me, somebody was like, can you just like whole show where you just dance only and like maybe you say a couple? I would be like, no, that would be too vulnerable because it's the thing that you haven't been, that you're not as confident in. Right. But it's just like so extraordinary. I want people to understand that's like that you transition from I'm a dancer to a leading man. And that does not happen. That is a very rare thing. And you are a true triple threat. Like your like we'll get to Crazy for You. But when I saw you in Crazy for You in London, I was just like, oh my, because I had heard about you before I had met you for Little Mermaid. And it was like, but I had never gotten to really see you dance because we danced together a bit during Mermaid. But wait, can we show oh, that's just a Mermaid, but show the clip, David.
A dance is like a conversation, except you never need to make a sound. And once you've begun, you speak as one, give and take, back and forth, round and round.
Oh my God, Shawnee. Like literally, I remember that's like when we had one of our very first rehearsals was us learning that dance together.
Do you remember we had to do that in an audition together? They made us do that.
Yes. Will you talk about that's actually the first time we met? It was your callback.
It was my callback. Michael Arden in a brown suit and me.
That's right. Oh yes. I remember. But talk about that whole, like your whole Prince Eric, like I'm like, it doesn't even make sense.
Well, I mean, both of our stories are a bit crazy, but I had been auditioning. I had been working with Francesca, who was the director, prior to Little Mermaid. And while we were working on this other project, which was Little House on the Prairie, which ended up being just called Prairie, she said, do you want to come in for something else that I'm working on? And I was like, absolutely. I would love to be in, work with you again. And it turned out to be Little Mermaid. I had no idea the scale she was talking about. I thought it was like another regional thing or a reading or something. So we started going through that process, and it was a long process. And I watched people get added and subtracted, and I had an audition with Jonathan Freeman on stage at those little, is it the MTC theaters, those ones that were movie theaters, and then with you. But then at one point they just said it's not happening. So I was told it's not happening at all, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. And I think at the time I was doing Apple Tree. And sort of like because that was a limited run, because Kristen Chenoweth had to go on to do something else. And I had been off Broadway for a long time. I hadn't done a show for a while. And I got back in a show and I was in the ensemble again. And I was like, oh, this feels weird. But I was understudying the lead. And so I was sort of like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this, maybe this is like the end. And I just need to start thinking about, becoming a grave digger or something. And
naturally.
Yeah, of course. It's like the next natural phase. I was a dancer after all.
That is the natural. I'm a dancer. God, I'm a dancer. No, I dig it.
I found out that, they didn't want to have me in again. And then I got a weird call one night from Francesca, and she's like, did you get a call from Disney? And I was like, no. And she's like, we're having you back in. And so I went in for more rounds. That's when we met and did that dance. And apparently that was a pretty important thing. And I met Cause and started working with him a little bit, and he's a scary one. And then
Cause is like Alan Menken's right hand guy for like
I grew to love him, but he was so intimidating at first.
Yeah.
And then and so then I was leaving Apple Tree, but on this one day I woke up, I was lying in bed and I just popped awake and I was like, that's my job. And I don't know where it came from. And I got a phone call and they were like, oh, you're going to be doing On the Town in London. I was like, oh, that's not the job I was manifesting. And then the next day I got a call saying I was going to be doing Little Mermaid. And the jobs all stopped. And the next day the rehearsal started for the next job. It was so crazy.
So aligned.
Anybody who says like there's no such thing as manifesting or like fate or whatever, that never happens. First of all, when do you have like 3 jobs lined up? And second of all, when do they like all stop and following without negotiating?
Exactly.
The following day you start the next one. And one was like flying off to London. The next one was coming back to New York City to like be, it was crazy.
Be in this like brand new Disney musical. But remember, you and I were interesting because we became inseparable. But at first you were exhausted because you had been doing On the Town in London.
Yep.
I was freaking out because this is my Broadway debut and I don't know, I'm just trying to make this work. So we actually weren't really like connected or talking. Remember, it was like it wasn't
not until we got to the boat.
Not until the Kiss the Girl boat. And so remember that rehearsal, and in Kiss the Girl, you guys, then there's this little boat, of course, that's like propped on this high thing so that like Titus, who is Sebastian, can stand on it. The slotted spoon
can catch the potato.
And so he's like on this, but we're stuck. Like they have to get a ladder to get us in and out of the boat. So here's like 2 actors that have not connected yet, that we're both in our heads so much. And do you remember like that I said to you about personality, and that's what bonded us?
I never forget it in my whole life.
Wait, so will you tell it or should I? No, you tell.
I can't remember exactly what you said, but you were like, you said something about my personality being, you say it.
Basically. Okay. So basically we're like sitting there like this, like
looking around.
Yeah. Like looking around. We're both thinking about everything else. Like we're both stressed. we don't know each other, but we've been rehearsing. We have not connected yet. And I went ahead and said something like, so did you need a new personality from Kmart? There's a sale, or like something like that. And that was so, when I think about it, it's like, that's risky, because the other person, that could have damaged us for life. That's like, someone's like, this cow, Sierra Boggess said, da, da, da. But you thought it was the funniest thing. It landed exactly how it was supposed to. And that was it. We were bonded forever because we like made a joke that like neither of us had any personality. And then we connected.
It was the boat of secrets then, because that's where I think it's something about, it was like something about like having to go from basically 0 to 60, because that scene was the romantic scene in the show for us. The first, like, where the two characters have the tension. And we hadn't even said any lines together. I think at the table reading, we were still like, not even, I mean, the table.
I don't even think we were sat next to each other.
Yeah, I don't think we were. You were like way over by.
I remember I was sat with Norm, and I don't remember who is on this side. Must not have made an impression. But it wasn't you.
No.
Yeah, because we didn't have any lines, because Ariel doesn't speak when we're in our scenes.
Right.
So there is like, but yeah, we were bonded for life there. But then that boat became the source of, when we were on stage and we were performing, tell the tale of,
oh my God.
People love knowing when things go wrong. Just tell that story real quick.
Well, that show had so many technical elements to it, like major robotics. And then that boat had like all this mechanical stuff going on underneath, that remote control would drive us around the stage, and it was up. So the Kiss the Girl song, everybody is in the fish costumes, basically below the level of where the boat would be touching the water. So when you're looking at it, obviously on stage, those guys are in the water and we're above them, and we cannot see or hear them in Theaterland, and they can see us, but we don't have awareness of them. And right before we're about to go on for that, like, was it intermission or
intermission?
When was it? Yeah, intermission. The Brian, who was the associate on that show, came back and was like, okay, by the way, the boat is not working. The robotics on the boat are not working. And so we're just going to have you guys, it's just going to cut the boat, and you guys are just going to walk out holding hands. And we were like, wait, but that scene is underwater. So how are we going to like do that? That doesn't make a lot of sense. He's like,
are we waiting?
All the fish are just going to avoid you pretty much, and you don't see them. It's not like you're under the water. I'm like, but you are, Blanche. You are.
You are.
What are you supposed to do? Oh my gosh. And do you remember feeling like so wildly embarrassed, like hot face?
I remember feeling, I was terrified, because remember 1 year prior, I had been doing Phantom in Las Vegas.
Oh,
and the same thing is that's when I fell through the stage and lost my whole front tooth.
Yeah, smoke.
Because of the smoke so all the smoke is also on the stage with Mermaid. So I'm just like squeezing your hand for dear life. Yeah. I mean, talk about just like trusting each other. Oh my God, there's so many stories. I feel like we need to do like a whole episode.
Yeah.
But there's so many things. But then, Shawnee, I want to talk about your London life, because that's also something that we share, is just our love of London and our love of the West End. And you did a number of shows there. But when I saw you in Crazy for You, that was one of my favorite things I have ever seen you do. You were so special in that.
Thank you.
I feel like we have a photo of you in Crazy for You too, dancing. There. Dancing.
Look, another redhead.
Look, it's not me.
It's not me. You.
But what was that experience? And that was Stephen Meyer choreographing, who choreographed us in Mermaid too.
Exactly.
What was that experience for you?
It was great. Do you remember being in your apartment in London, and I had the script to go audition, and I had to go to Regent's Park to audition?
Yeah, because I was supposed to do it with
right
you too.
At the beginning. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Remember, it was supposed to be you and I, but then I can't remember what happened.
Yeah, so that's the craziest thing, is that your life and my life keep doing that thing.
Always.
So I went to that audition in the park in a little room, and Gareth Valentine was there, and Stephen was there, and Tim Sheeter was there. And I just sang a little bit of the song that I'm going to sing for you today. And then I read with them. And that was it. And then I didn't hear anything for a little while, and I got the show. And we started out in Regent's Park, which is this beautiful outdoor theater where they have like a bar with fairy lights and you're just open sky. The only weird thing about that is like in hot sunny afternoons when like you're used to theater lights and you don't have any of that stuff.
Oh my
But
God.
it's one of the greatest things to be in Regent's Park and just have this beautiful big, 3/4 thrust stage in the park. And they do some tremendous shows there. I've seen some really great shows there, musicals and plays. And then we ended up going to the West End with the show. It did really well. It got 5-star reviews across the board. We took it to the West End. We won the Olivier for Best Revival that year. And it was like a tremendously, it just was this great thing that dropped in my lap. No resistance, it was really, really exciting. And it was a fantastic group of people. I absolutely loved that cast. I loved, obviously working with Steven again, and Tim Sheeter was such a terrific director. I met some terrific friends that I still have today, Harriet Thorpe and Claire, who was in that photo. It was glorious and so fun. That show is, we worked with Ken, who wrote it, and he's like a master thespian. He's brilliant with Shakespeare, and he came in and worked on the show with us. And just to hear this master playwright talking about how he borrowed from Shakespeare to pull this show off, and it's such a fun, life-giving show to you who do it, and also everybody who saw it. People just went crazy for it.
Yeah,
that's why it's
they
called
went
Crazy
crazy for you. I know that you're going to sing for that, and we need to have you sing because duh. But I really quickly want to say that Shawnee has also now started the most incredible YouTube channel of my life. Therefore, it needs to be everybody's life, and I just want everyone to know about it. And so please go check out Sean Palmer on YouTube. It's just like we all get to see like it's so you, and you're so like real, and just it's the best part of the stuff that's like you get everything that you want out of you, as it's like Sean the performer that we know, but then it's the human side of you too that's just like you're so quirky and fun, and just like it brings me so much joy during this time of quarantine, and I just want people to check it out and know all about it. So go to Sean Palmer on YouTube.
Yeah, it's called Lo-Fi Magic, and it's like
will you talk about Lo-Fi Magic really quick?
Oh yeah, sure. It's just like being in the jungle gym of my mind for like 10 or 15 minutes. So I do two broadcasts a week, one on Friday, which is sort of a free form one. Right now I'm doing like a little showbiz thing every Friday, but that's the space where I can do whatever I want. And then on Mondays I do a show called Lo-Fi Magic, which is kind of scripted, and I have things that I'm interested in because I'm really into like vinyl toys and stuff like that. But the idea came from having sort of pulled back from everything. I'm in Ireland right now, and I've, before the quarantine, I was already feeling quite isolated here because I don't really know a lot of people. And I was starting to have time in my head and I was starting to realize that I liked things. Like I was like, oh, I like that. And I've never told myself I like that. And it's on such a low frequency. I was like, it's like letting a secret about myself. And so I was starting to notice things I liked, little tiny things. And I was like, that's really cool. That's like this lo-fi magic. And it just became a thing. And so now I'm trying to spread it around and have everybody realize, like, be enough with your thoughts that you notice them, and it's almost like your friend on your shoulder, where you're like, oh, hey, did you realize how much you like blueberries? Or did you know how much you like that first time you smell when spring comes in? It's those quiet little tiny thoughts. You know what I mean?
That's so beautiful. And I want everybody, because like how we started this show, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. And those are really tiny, amazing nuggets to think about during this time of, instead of these big things that we can't get to right now, it's the little, I love it, lo-fi magic, the little things that are actually bringing you great joy and stuff in this life too. Thank you for sharing that with us, Shawnee.
Happy to.
Now, will you share your dang singing voice?
Yes. Let me get my sophisticated setup started.
And I wasn't going to sing for you guys today, but I was like, if I'm making my friends sing, I have to sing too. So I did.
I'm glad you did. It was so beautiful.
Okay, yes. Okay, Shawnee.
The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that No, no, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams. The way you sing off key. The way you haunt my dreams. No, no, they can't take that away from me. We may never, never meet again on this bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always, always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you've changed my life. No, no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me.
Oh my God, that was the perfect way to end this show. Shawnee, thank you so much.
Thanks
oh
for
my
having me.
God. You are literally a real life prince.
I have to tell you something. Happy birthday. This
Eddie,
guy is on his way to you right now.
are you serious? Oh
Yeah.
my God, Eddie Q!
Happy birthday, Sierra. I love you so much.
Thank you, Shawnee. I love you so much. Oh my God, my face hurts. Eddie Q, I can't wait to see you. Okay, Shawnee, I love you. Thank you
I
for
love you
being
too.
here. Oh my God, my face. Bye, Shawnee. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm so serious. Like my cheeks hurt from smiling so much. I am so grateful to all of you for donating while you watched and continue to donate. And for those of you that are unable to donate, that's okay. I hope that you had some joy. These are some of my favorite humans, and I just wanted to share them with you. And also, it was a treat for me to see them because quarantine, we don't get to see each other. But May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just want you to know that you are not alone. And even though we are isolated, we are doing this to heal each other. So remember, we have a purpose of why we're doing this. This is not a punishment. We are doing this in order to heal one another. So I want you to remember, I pulled a light lesson for us. I want you to feel there it is, support. I want you to feel supported. Know that you're supported. Our community supports you. Thank you for supporting us. I want to thank Seth and James for